Hey, do you like Gundam? Do you like watching us watch Gundam? You can go ahead and get double episodes of Gundam over on the Patreon if we get up to 30 Patreons. Go ahead and join and do your part, and you'll go ahead and get double the Gundam. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're watching some Gundam Origins. We're here on the final episode, and we got some comments to read first. Up first is Lee Hong Jun from the episode Dawn of Rebellion saying, Degwin is shown to favor and care about Garma more than his other children. About your theory about wanting Garma with him so that nothing bad would happen doesn't seem to be the case. When Sarso died, during that time it's Garma just happened to be with Kycelia. She doesn't seem to care about Garma like her father did. I'm not too sure, does Degwin even know that Kycelia is the one that kills Sastro, and people with new types doesn't naturally make them physically strong, it just makes them extremely high degree of focus and spatial awareness. Almost a sixth sense, so Char definitely dedicated himself to be the best soldier, but his new type by the time doesn't seem to be fully awakened yet, but I believe him to be the new type because he piloted the gun tank as a kid without any training so naturally.
Just before you say anything, Griff, there was a comma in there. There was one comma.
One piece of punctuation, the whole thing, okay.
I knew you were going to say something, and I was scanning, and I'm like, no, there was at least a comma in there. It was one separate thought.
I need to get a warning sign for these. I need to take a big breath here before I do it.
But yeah, I mean, Kycelia killed Sasro, so I don't think it's a happenstance that she also got into the car with the most beloved member of the family.
I think Kycelia is definitely aware that people love Garma and definitely uses that to her advantage, like 100%. That she's sassy about it is just icing on the cake.
Well, I just don't think it makes much sense to say that the family member that manipulates the most and assassinates people didn't, just in this one instance, manipulate anybody during one of her assassinations.
I think the best way to put it is that the way Degwin did, in that his eldest children are absolutely bloodthirsty. If Kycelia does care, it does not take away from the fact she is bloodthirsty. She would absolutely kill anyone, probably Garma included. I get less of that vibe with Dozel, who would far more care to probably save Garma if something bad was happening. As for the new type thing, if I recall right, that was probably in response to Char flicking the other guy away, which can only be explained either, as you suspect, randomized super strength, which doesn't seem to be the case, or some sort of psychic ability that causes him to tumble, and nobody even realizes it.
Again,
which seems weird.
Dude broke bricks.
You're muted.
Am I?
You were.
No, I understand something. An old problem has returned. An old problem that hasn't been a problem for a long time. Specifically, I cannot click a certain window and have you hear me. Anyway, I was saying, dude got thrown through bricks. Nobody else gets thrown through bricks. Especially not with a flick motion of a couple of fingers. So
he threw himself into the bricks and broke them. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing that needs, like, an explanation, like a single line. Like, Char looks back and goes, I remember the time where I caused the person to throw himself into some bricks.
Well, they did explain it, Griff. Don't you remember? There was a red flash.
That just says that he did it because he's a new type, but we don't know the mechanism there. Ultimately, it just kind of ends up being a little funny. That's it. Let's go ahead and go on to our next comment from Oleb23, also from the Dawn of Rebellion. Also, a slightly sillier meta-knowledge thing. The first Gundam, 0079, whatever, got cancelled partway through its initial run due to lower than expected viewership rates and such. They got the time to wrap things up, but it involves cutting some 10 episodes of material of the midsection of the show and hurrying towards endgame, which normally I wouldn't bother to tell you, but Gundam was revived as a franchise after it started doing very well in reruns, and two demographics are given credit for it: model building aficionados and yaoi fangirls. So if there's ever points where you're seeing Char being the way that Char is, and seeing homoerotic tension between him and another guy who he has a good reason to hate, you're walking a path well traveled.
Yeah, I think we did that already.
I can absolutely see it.
Well, I think their response to that comment comes in the next episode that, I said Theta thoughts about before ever having this comment to react to. So,
Mm-hmm. Right, you were on the edge of it. You were on the cusp of realizing what fan service was at play here. Of course, that's the more meta-textual analysis of it. That's us going, here's what the anime industry is like and the demographic being served, rather than just like reading the text of the show, right? Those are two different perspectives. Both valid, but completely different.
Well, no, I was reading the context of the show.
Yeah, right,
as
but
I said,
it's from the perspective of the meta, right?
I mean, I can only read the perspective of the show since these characters were made in 1979. So I'm just reading a new perspective of them from a different. By the way, disappointing fact that I learned in research.
Yeah,
the guy who wrote Origin is also the guy who directs this. We are not going to see anything else from him beyond one more movie that he didn't write but still directed.
That's kind of a shame because this turned out great, honestly.
Yeah, I really liked it. But he's not the guy who writes most of Gundam stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He writes a bunch of other things. I think a couple of them I knew, but nothing that's connected to this. So, like I said, we're going to see him direct one more thing. I think we have it in the watch order right after Gundam 79.
Yeah.
But, again, it's not a thing that he wrote, though.
Well, I suppose we'll go ahead and get to that bridge when it comes to it, and honestly, I hope the guy gets more projects. But for right now, I think Theta, we're moving on to the board next, aren't we? Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the board here and see what we got. Who is dead? I'm trying to notice who is different here. Who actually died last time? That's something I need, like, to hit a refresh on my head here.
Well, everyone with a red X would be dead, Griff, so...
Right, but, I guess Tibolo died last time, didn't he?
He's one of them.
Oh gosh, that's one. Who else? Jinball's been dead for a while. Smokey died a couple episodes ago.
About 5 people died last episode.
Oh, right. The Colonist. I almost forgot. Our two adorable little colonists over here, Fang and Yuki.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that... I think we already in the moment, like, cover, like, how hard that just, like, happened to hit. Like, we saw all the writing on the wall, but still, just positively...
Well, connectively, Yuki here was talking about going to, God, what is their name? Where are they? Over here. Yashima, like a Yashima Institute. Yeah. Once they were done. Well, we haven't connected to these people in forever. Just the fact
they're only tangentially related to Tibolo there, and maybe he's on the same station as Ray, is the best I can guess right now.
You keep saying that. I don't think he is. They have their own, like, mega corporation. They're super fucking rich. He suggests that Tibolo goes to the colony that he winds up in. Yeah. But that's about also I've updated the ages on some of the pictures. So Amuro isn't a baby anymore.
Yeah. I guess there is, of course, my crazy theory that if Jamble actually connected here... Jimba. And then sent Casval over to here, and then he sent him over to Tem, then he could end up in the Gundam.
I'm so very confused, because Jimba has never met Shu before, so I don't even know why that would be a connection.
I don't know. This is crazy ideas of like, oh, I see that maybe lines could be drawn here, but we don't have them, so I'm just like,
well,
okay,
I mean, I'm just saying Shu knew Tibolo, because Shu comes to talk to Tibolo after the incident, at which point Jimba's dead, but Jimba was contacting Anaheim officials, not Shu.
Hmm. And I think we also have some of our newcomers here, which I think is like these two down here.
Yeah.
With McQueeve, who like is wearing the most fashionable thing at the table. And I don't even remember Garcia, actually.
He asks a question. He's at the very end of the table with the bug-eyed face that you have right there.
He's there, and he exists.
I have to apologize for this. I could not find a picture of her as a baby as she appears, so this is somewhat of a spoiler to the fact that she grows up, I guess.
Oh no, the baby lives? Say it isn't so. It's fine.
I mean, you wouldn't know otherwise, because a lot of kids do seem to die.
I'm of course interested in what role Minerva is going to take, being the son of Dozel, who is a daughter of Dozel, who is now dead, and only having
Wait, what?
Zena. What? Dozel's dead.
When did Dozel die?
I thought we covered that already.
No? Dozel's been dead in everything that I've seen. I mean, alive. He's been alive in everything I've seen. When did he die?
Have we just been saying that wrong this entire time? I feel like since episode 1, where we saw him die.
He didn't die in episode 1. What are you talking about?
Okay, maybe that's just completely off base then. All right,
I think you need to
lives.
separate this we all of a sudden. We haven't been saying he's dead. He hasn't had an X through him the entire time, so I've never said he was dead.
He's going to die in the future, or whatever future past that we've already seen, which was the future, but we saw in the past.
Griff, most assuredly he will die, given that the timeline of Universal Century goes 200 to 300 years past this before it reaches a point where they renamed the centuries. So yes,
I need Terminator Dozel. That's what I need now.
Everybody on this, I'm zooming out. Everybody on this whole thing will have died of old age by the time that we reach near the end of our watch through, Griff. All of these people will have aged out. Not even died in combat. Just they will die of natural causes, like poor T-Blow here.
Everyone will die of natural causes, except Haro.
Well, Haro can
that's
too.
How we know they're the main character.
Haro can be dropped in water, and there's not enough rice on Earth to get him back up.
Don't dump your Haro in rice, everyone. But they're not going to die a natural death. Was my point.
Sure, they will.
You could kill them, sure, but they're going to live to 2020, right?
Your electronics can die a natural death. That's called shelf life. That's called obsolescence.
What's the shelf life on a space Haro? I don't know that one. Especially one with a spring foot.
Well, Griff, that's pretty easy. Are they made of matter? Matter has a shelf life, Griff. That's called proton. That's called proton decay, Griff.
Okay, so in a few billion years, Haro will dissolve into nothing as his protons unwind. Okay.
At which point, you'll be proven wrong. So, there you go.
I think that is all of our new additions to the board, though. So, Theta, how about we go ahead and go over some of your thoughts?
I mean, not quite, but yeah. I guess we can skip over everybody else, too. Hell, you didn't even recognize 2 parents that died last episode. In the recap of last episode, just a random little scratch? Sure. Okay.
Sure.
I noticed what you're doing on the board, Griff.
Yeah.
In the recap of last episode, they did a good job of depicting Ramba blaming the Earth Federation for the fall of his family, as per what he says in the brawl with the officers during the karaoke. That goes a way towards explaining his allegiance to the Principality of Zeon. I feel like I'm either forgetting something or missing something to explain why still. He helped smuggle his father and the kids away from Munzo, knowing the danger the people and the zombies posed to them. The only thing I can think is that at the end of the first episode, Kycilia captures Haman and Ramba in the spaceport, and we cut away from them. Maybe she did something that made Ramba side with Zeon and let everything go from before.
My interpretation of it is that Rambo Rawl is basically a failure waiting for something to happen, and he wants to get back to being a fighter, pilot, and soldier. That's the thing that he wants to do. He wants to go back and he wants to fight. And he has a decent reason in the Earth Federation is, in fact, making things worse. But of course, that doesn't make him the best of friends with everyone in Zeon, especially after they drop a colony on people after he told them not to.
I mean, I disagree with your failure in waiting read. Because he has he doesn't read that way due to all the loyal companions from the past that gather around him that make him seem like old war captain sort of thing, you know, like the old Egyptian British officer in many old penny dreadfuls say.
He's got like a little bit of an association around him, but I would honestly say that's more of an association around Crowley. Ramble is just sort of like the figurehead of it.
No, Crowley is like your intelligence officer in this scenario. Crowley is still gathered around Ramble as well, or Ramble rather.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because
right.
even like what's his name over here on the board? Clamp and everything. Everyone who works with Hammond goes to Ramba as the authority figure.
I definitely feel, though, Ramble is the type of person to start a coup with
Ramba. Once again, Ramba. I know the temptation is there to call him Ramble because he's missing one letter, but his name is Ramba.
He's Ramby now.
Well, I mean, because even last episode, Hammond goes off and says, I did this because Ramba asked me to.
Okay.
So I don't think she's in charge. Like I said, she's, if not for the fact that Tachi is literally an intelligence operative, like she's the one who puts on outfits and shit and gets shit done.
Mm.
The news report in the opening states that the Hate government issued a relief request to the Federation and any other side, as the Zeon attack encompasses almost all of Hate's Bankai, I don't know. That's obviously not Bankai now that I said that out loud. Banchai, I don't know. The fighting we see is the last-ditch defense of the capital Banchai, of which even the news says they are at a clear disadvantage. It mentions Side 6, Riha, is remaining neutral, as we know, but includes Side 7, Noah, as also not in the fight since its construction has only just begun. Side 7, as we know, is where Maru and gang are?
Maru?
I think I meant to say Amuro and forgot to type a capital A.
Alright, there you go, then.
That's like, clearly I either meant Haru and gang. Clearly I either meant Haru and gang, or I forgot a capital A. Yeah, Amuro and gang.
Yeah. I think the context we were given during the episode of, like, the Federation is not responding to anything because it is in the middle of literally trying to, like, manage its warfare and doesn't want to, like, split up its fleet or anything. So it is just focused on winning rather than doing anything.
Well, I mean, you're kind of wrong, but not worth getting into.
Yeah, it's fair, it's fair.
Well, I mean, because the last episode showed that's not right. But, you know, something, it's not in my thoughts here, but something that occurred to me earlier this morning as I was getting everything ready, is that I don't feel like they did a good enough job showing why independence mattered.
I think they have, like, the minimum required, for sure.
They
show the Federation is willing to suppress.
Well, wait. Sorry, I know you have a whole spiel there. I mean, before Zeon. The Federation steps in to suppress the everything after Zeon's whole "we should be independent" spiel, but we don't get a why Zeon goes off on a. When I say Zeon, I mean Zeon's deikun, the guy, not the whole organization. Why he thought they should be independent.
Right, Deikun seems more like just someone who has like this ideology of like space should be free, you know? Rather than like a specific point of complaint that he was going for. But other people have points of complaint and would latch on to that. Which is why like we end up with the Zeon we get, right?
I mean, because we don't get like
we're missing a history lesson, I suppose, but like yeah, we gotta go with the Gundams, right?
Well, I mean, like we don't get like a taxation without representation sort of thing. You know, we don't get an underlying cause of these people are disenfranchised because of this. And up until the suppressing of the marches that are caused by Zeon's death, we don't really get any, hands-on Federation stuff either.
Right, I guess we only can imply that because they were colonies, thus bad things were happening to them.
I don't buy into that, though.
That's fair, but that's the only thing to read into left.
I don't think it can. I just don't think it exists. I guess the only thing we have to go on is the fact that they were willing to suppress crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Shows that they were always willing to suppress crowds.
Right. They had tanks hanging around on space stations. I already disagree with that as a move, and that only exists for one reason.
Well, I mean that was covered in the episode we had the comments from Dawn of Rebellion. When Char steps up and says, "What exactly are we meant to be suppressing?" Especially with these paltry forces that you've given us.
I guess maybe you've answered the question.
What are these exercises supposed to prepare us for, Commandant?
Mm-hmm.
There has to be something said for the visibility of space. Maybe less so from Earth to the sides, but maybe the moon to the sides, and the giant windows in the sides to each other. That all this fighting and the threats made against one Banchai by another are super visible. If someone launches an attack against the next Banchai over, you are not only going to get to see it, but know how close you are to the danger, and know exactly how little protection you have from one stray explosion sucking you out into the vacuum of space, or suffer what the people of Island Ifish had to go through.
So, like, when it comes to modern warfare, we're all, like, very distant from it. Like, obviously, the American perspective is everything happens, like, thousands of miles away. Nothing will ever really come back to hit us until, of course, it does. But, if you're on one of these sides, you get to see the entire war playing out no matter where you are. Or at least, like, 50% of them will see the entire war.
Well, I mean, I had double thoughts about this. On some shots, you can see them looking up into, like, the windows of space or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there is sort of the atmosphere in the center of the Banchi, that kind of makes it have the same effect of looking up through Earth's atmosphere. But there are other shots where you can see the giant spaceships through the windows, and it's like, it's obviously not obscuring all that much. So...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like they got the picture view, and the war is always right there for them.
Or I guess the very last shot of not the very last shot, near the end of last episode when Sayla looks up and somehow with her telescopic vision sees Char's mobile suit up there standing on the window.
Mm-hmm.
The talk between Ramba and Dozel was pretty damn good. We had Ramba lamenting the attack against Hate early on, then later wishing he had at least been present for the fleet attack. He references the fact that Zeon Deikun would never have ordered this war, and I can only think he meant the war on Hate, and not specifically the war altogether. Zeon was a space noid supremacist, to my read, so the war against the Earth Federation might be debatable, but maybe he wouldn't want to fight other space noids. Either way, Ramba and Dozel easily encompass a representative debate over the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Ramba representing the immoral, inhumane, and unnecessary nature of it with his previous lament at the sight of the entirely one-sided battle in space, reinforced by his comments that this was the devil's work, and Dozel representing the pragmatic need for a swift end, that the deaths need not be in vain, and that the war could be ended in a single strike. It is such a beautifully encapsulated scene that I don't have much more to add to it, other than to say that these feel like the perfect two characters to have had it.
Yeah, I think the scene overall was still definitely like a very good one when it comes to how do these terrible things come about, what kind of people might be making these decisions, and why are they still wrong to kill all the civilians? Because I think even Dozel isn't like fully convinced about it, and by the time the episode ends, or is it next episode, is it? He's like, what did I do? I killed so many Manivas, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, that was in this episode. The
And
same
of course,
episode that he
for
commands it.
nothing too.
Well, I mean, it's not for nothing. I mean, everybody who might have been neutral kind of had to pick a side at that point. You don't like witness.
Hmm.
You don't witness half the death of Earth and be like, I was on the fence before, but those Zeons, man, they can't be allowed to do that. That's not cool.
I don't know. I think we can find a middle ground between killing half of the Earth and killing nobody. Maybe we only kill 25% of what's left.
Well, I think it's just incidentally that they killed half of Earth. Remember, their
Yeah,
plan
yeah.
wasn't to kill half of the Earth. Their
Their
plan,
goal was like a strike at their headquarters, which they completely missed.
yeah, when you consider that the headquarters is in South America.
Mhm.
Hold on, I've written it down somewhere. That the headquarters is somewhere in South America, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And they hit everywhere, but they hit Australia, North America, and I think a bit of the Pacific Ocean. At least
Mhm.
that's the way it looked on the map. I'm not sure. I have it written somewhere in my notes.
Yeah, yeah.
Stupidly, we missed the fact that they took over the docking bays of Ifish and started pumping in a gas labeled GG. That is why the Zeon officers there were all in special full-body suits.
Mhm.
Maybe something of a spoiler, but I'm going to share it here. I tried to research if the gas they used was a nerve agent or such, based on its effects. It's cold and then passing out and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And discovered that it's already a thing in Gundam called G3 gas. So I guess that's a GG gas. Is 3 G's in it.
GGG, sure.
Described as being a potent combination of nerve and blister agents such as mustard gas, VX, Novichok agents.
Yeah.
I think we talked about the air leaking out and all these people dying of oxygen deprivation because we hadn't noticed that. That's 2 crimes against humanity committed around Island Ifish in the span of a week.
Yeah, it just makes it even worse. It doesn't really change it. They still killed everyone on there. They just also killed them inhumanely first before burning them up in atmosphere.
Well, the burning them up, and I don't think you can say that they committed a crime against the people of Island Ivish by the weaponizing of their home, because those people were already dead. I don't think you can commit a crime against humanity against the person who's already dead, I think is my argument there. My devil's argument there.
Complete tangent. Thought that something popped in my head. It's almost hilarious that they decided that America is just destroyed by this incidental, what you called, or compared to a nuclear bombing. It's just kind of funny to think about that in the meta. It's like, all right, so I'm writing a war story about the effects of a terrible weapon being used against civilians and massive casualties. And also, incidentally, I'm going to write America out of the story, the people who did that in the first place and inspired this.
Well, you keep saying they destroyed America, but they didn't say that in the show, Griff.
They totally did. They said, like, America is trash.
No, they said the wreckage fell on the uninhabited parts of North America.
America is now uninhabited because of the wreckage that fell.
No, you're
reversing it.
No, you're reversing it. I'm the one who just rewatched it all to take notes. Griff, you have the least amount of remembrance. You have the least amount of remembrance here. I've literally hold on. Let me scroll down to I've literally been taking a timeline of events
Right.
so that when we hit the 1 year war, be like, oh wow, this is taking place on January 3rd. We know what's happening elsewhere in the setting on January 3rd right now.
Right.
Let's see. January 16th. Island Ifish splits in 3 and strikes the Earth. Southern Australia, Sydney, hit by the bay section, utterly destroyed. Land section hits southwestern Canada, raining debris across most of America. Rear section came down in South Pacific, triggering massive quakes and tsunamis in densely populated East Asia. Yeah, that's all it says about America. Is that it hits Canada and rains debris down across most of America.
You would think if it rained debris down on most of America, that'd be bad, but...
Well, it's not the equivalent of getting hit by a third of a space colony, I would think. Because at the same time, we're not arguing that all of Australia is dead, even though it got directly hit.
Where'd that half of humanity go, Theta?
Well, if you don't remember, Griff, they say half of humanity is the death toll after starvation, loss of supplies, basic humanitarian needs, etc. It's not everybody died immediately when this thing hit. And the thing is, it doesn't give us a time frame. It says after all of the thing was accounted for. And I would say that's pretty hard to account for the death of half of the humans on Earth inside of January 16th to January 23rd. That seems like a lot of bean counting to do in a short amount of time.
All right. So
I also don't think that many people are going to starve to death. It takes longer than a week to starve to death. Well, depending on where you were before. If you were already starving to death, you would get there faster. And we already know that. Did they say it was Spain is almost, or Africa? I think it's Africa is mostly uninhabitable.
I don't remember that one actually, because like it hit in the Pacific.
No, this was before that. This was UC 0071 when they were in Spain. Algiers and Marrakesh have both been swallowed by sand. North Africa is no longer fit for human habitation.
Oh, there you go.
So that was
North Africa.
Yeah, that was 8 years before the war even started.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused as to why loum was such a problem for the Zeons, considering how close it was to them. Eventually, they had been evidently they had been promised major Federation support. Later, we see that with the Federation fleet visible above Miranda, Loum's capital, Banshee. That's when they started opening fire on pro-Zeon protesters and forcibly evacuating them. Just an aside, but also a crime against humanity by UN definitions. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the forcible relocation of an entire population and not so much maybe opening fire on peaceful protesters.
Right. The difference between... Well, it's still genocide, ultimately, so continue.
Well, it's bad things on both sides, right? There's no good side in this war. Just one of these sides has done significantly worse to the other people. That aside, it's also why the Federation supporters in Texas that attacked the aznable... I don't know why. I can always... Char aznable. The aznables... See, I can always say it when I'm talking about Char, but when I say their last name apropos of nobody else's name, it just reads weird to me. That's why they attacked the Aznable and Tiblo houses later in the episode, and were so emboldened to do so. Also of note, the moment before Sayla takes charge of the house's defense, the look on her face was exactly like Casval's when he took command of the gun tank in episode 1.
Right. I think it was definitely a good character moment to just like draw their equivalencies. They are still cut from the same cloth, even if they are drastically different personalities and goals.
It's kind of funny that Giran came up with Operation British, but also proposed to punish the people that carried it out and oversaw its operation, recognizing how unimaginably awful it was and trying to distance himself from it, but still having done it.
I think I wanted to say in the moment, I maybe didn't get it out, but that is like the best play Giran could have possibly done to set someone up to take all of the blame for the terrible action he specifically tried to commit. And I believe deikun actually goes on to point right back at Giran and say it's like, no, this was your fault. You told them to do this. Don't you dare.
Yeah. Well, it
was the best moment for that whole bit.
It follows a pattern, right, of wanting to point the finger at Dozel. And Dagwin like, God, I hate my kids.
Yeah.
Dozel at home had real Winnie the Pooh meets Vegeta energy.
Oh gosh. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. He like completely changes personality when he's just having a good time, I'll say.
So he seems very torn between them as well.
True. I mean, like he's also like a bloodthirsty military leader, a part of this top tier family that demands constant success. So it's like, yeah, how does he deal with that as a person? He's not.
I would
He's
say
not very well.
he's only recently become bloodthirsty. You remember in episode 1, he was like,
Mhm.
"We have to stop them from killing the kids." You know, he is very much not this guy.
Dozel has like more understandable lines that he won't cross, which is just like, I'm not going to shoot and kill 2 kids. That's a little too much for him. That's understandable. He also went, I'm going to go ahead and make a brand new weapon of war, invulnerable to everything else, and be the coolest there is, and then kill a lot of people with it.
I thought you were going to start off with Operation British there. He said
He also did that.
He drew the line of I'm not going to kill these 2 kids, then kills half the kids of the planet Earth.
Right. He distanced himself from his own actions to do so.
Let's see. I'm still confused by Lieutenant Tachi. Seems like we have another world's greatest detective situation going on. What with him acting ahead of Casilia on behalf of either himself, Raul, or Sayla. And we know what happened to the last world's greatest detective, especially one that butted into Casval's affairs.
Oh yeah, no, he's on the chopping block if Castle ever catches wind of this. But I don't think he will. He is beneath Char's attention.
Well, at least we knew how the other guy, how Lino figured out that Char was Casval. Tachi just fucking shows up and says, I believe, you know?
I guess it helps that he was hired by them in the first place. He had the personal connections to maybe make the lines add up for him.
Well, he knows where he dropped the kids off, which was on a ship bound for somewhere. And then what? Spent the next few years getting recruited by Casilia, and then
you could have like an entire short novel just about how did he go from cargo technician who participated in helping 2 political refugees escape to top of the spy game that is also working up against the organization he's in. This guy's life is wild now. I want to know.
I think it goes back to something I said before in a previous thought. You know how we ended the episode where they're literally escaping on the ship?
Yeah.
Is Caecilia with a bunch of forces coming up behind Ramba and Harmon.
Yeah.
Well, we know Tachi's in the spaceport. He just loaded them on the ship.
Yeah.
The same reason. Why is Ramba working for the Zeons after all this time still? What if the situation I just said, that they had some sort of agreement made there, Tachi's down there in the same place? What if Tachi got rounded up in it too?
He gets more attention. He gets drawn in as a keep your enemies closer kind of deal.
Well,
maybe
more so.
Funny.
Well, more so that Casilia clearly had all the means necessary to arrest Ramba and Haman right there. But we see in the next few episodes that they're free, and then they're still they're working on Zeon's behalf. So clearly, some sort of arrangement got made there, and it doesn't seem to me too far of a hop and a skip to say, well, you two obviously didn't get him on the ship. You didn't get the kids on the ship yourselves. What other people here are working for you?
I guess when it comes down to it, it's probably part of Caecilia's own personal gambit to have allowed all of this in the first place, I think. I think this is actually part of her plan. It's like, if I spare him now, he works for me for a while, does some things, and now we reach the point where Caecilia's like, he's no longer useful to me. I'm gonna go do the arrest and pretend I, just finally broke the case or something.
I guess at the end of the day, I'm just surprised that Tachi can do all this fucking shit and still, had not have Caecilia murder him like she does everybody else.
His life changed 180 degrees after that day. Again, I want the short novel.
You said before that you thought some of the new type stuff we saw before was telepathy. Is it possible that when Sayla was at the gravesite on Texas and getting flashes of Itachi in her head? I don't remember Itachi, sorry. This is past me knowing more than present me. That was Char listening in on her thoughts. Sorry, clearly I meant to say Tachi, the guy we were just talking about, and I have just done another bad typo. It was in a red tint, and the way she gripped her head made it seem like it was an involuntary thought. We don't know exactly when he got there, but later in the episode we know he's in the area, specifically when she looks up and spots his mobile suit with her oddly good eyesight.
Right, the fact that all the new types can like immediately look at in the distance and see something that they never should have seen is already a power, right? Forced telepathy though? Okay, if we get a scene where Char steps in on Tachi and goes like, I know that you know, and we're just like, when did he hear about this? Like, well, no. Telepathy.
I mean, yeah, I guess that would be a way. Dozel's battle plan, given last episode, confuses me with what we saw happening in the flash forwards of the first episode. The one, the part where you think he's dead.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with that because I didn't anticipate you thinking he's been dead this whole time. I didn't think we were, whatever that Bruce Willis movie was, this.
Yeah, Ghost Dad, let's do it.
Yeah. With a rapist. Dozel is retreating from the Tiananmen fleet, not Tiananmen, Tiananmen fleet, which lines up with his plan insofar that he's losing the fight he's in. But he says that a special regiment is meant to circle around and assault Rebel's fleet, which we also saw. The part that confuses me is that both events seemed to be taking place in the same location, and according to all the lead-up that I could see, they should be separated by some distance and be two separate engagements.
I guess this is what we call one massive battle. That's the best I got for it. Maybe the forces moved in after that attack, and that's why they end up closer together.
No, you remember it was a whole specific thing that gets messed a little bit. Rebels fleet, sorry, is it Rebels that gets separated? No, Rebels does get separated because he hears of somebody else needing help when Char assaults the docking bays of a bunch of places. So they spill off their fleet by a third and send that off, which is not accounted for in Dozel's plan. But then we have the Tiananmen fleet. I keep saying Tiananmen. Tianem. Tianem. We have the Tianem fleet, which is where it gets assaulted by Dozel's forces. Right? Is that right? Or does Dozel attack Rebel's fleet?
I don't remember specifically.
I think it's the TNM fleet because it's supposed to be as large as the Zeon fleet is right now.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to be Char's fleet, which goes and assaults Rebel's fleet, which is en route. Because Rebel's fleet is also as large or larger than the Zeon fleet right now. Mm-hmm. And they're all in motion towards one another. But it's supposed to be all happening at the same time and preventing them from reaching one another.
This is all just like to try to get the timeline and like motions of everything into vision, and I think really it just comes down to maybe we're really just seeing it from Char's perspective. Maybe he just like light speed dashes into something else later. We actually ended up the episode on him just going as fast as possible into stuff.
Possibly blacking out.
Yeah, maybe he just ends up somewhere later after waking up from blacking out.
And just to clarify, that's the flash forward bit that we got in the first episode, is Dozel's fleet retreating from combat. And, the thing that we've referenced before is one of the soldiers on screen is saluting him, wishing him good luck, and then dying, and then Dozel ripping up the metal bars of his command center in anger at his own men dying.
I really do love just Dozel casually super strengthening stuff,
Well, that's how we know he's still alive, though, because the last thing we see is him bending the bars because he's so angry that his men are dying and saying that your deaths won't be in vain.
Right. What else you got?
I appreciate that Garma, though manipulated, has led his troops into battle before, and that here in the face of Degwin's words, values his troops' lives and wants to be out there with them, rather than sitting back in the safety with his father. It's a very docile attitude as well.
No comment. I got nothing on it.
No comment because you don't have anything nice to say, or no comment because
my head's empty on that one, I'm afraid. It's just an observation.
Okay. Well, the only thoughts I have left come at the end of the episode, that thing we previously talked about.
Right. So do you want to go over them, or do we want to go ahead and go to the episode?
Well, you have to wait till the end of the episode because your thoughts may change, or things might happen in this episode that'll make your previous thing that you were going to say awkward if certain characters do wildly disproportionate things, you know.
All right then. So we got our episode here. Since they're going to go ahead and give us like a 30-minute what happened last time, I say we go ahead and watch it and just see what happens. But of course, before we go ahead and get watching, everyone remember to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to help the channel just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below, join the Discord. Tell us what your favorite bits of the Universal Century timeline are, but don't spoil it or anything that we haven't gotten to yet. Maybe just name a show. Name one of the shows so we look forward to. Here we are at the end.
That really is just such a nice shot.
Of a goofy fucking ship. But we know they're designed that way so they can, like, pivot the beams off of them or something.
Angled armor kind of doctrine.
Yeah, assuming that your enemy ships come at you head on.
Come on, Amuro. All the other kids are doing it.
I mean, these kids deserve to get the shit beaten out of them.
They were about to die.
Yeah, they're just being fucking hoodlums, though. And this guy whose name means both snow and bravery.
Little did you know that he also committed a crime as a teenager, thus he is marked for death. Oh, there they go. They fully explained. Yeah, chemical weaponry.
No, I mean, in the episode, they literally show a ship that has, like, GG written on the side of it, flying towards this place. And you do have to admit, it is a bit of a, it is a bit of a thing to kill them before doing this. So I think being alive during this would have been worse.
It definitely would have been even crueler, but the fact that they could have made it even worse doesn't mean it's not still really bad.
No, yeah, I mean, well, apparently triple G gas or whatever the fuck it's called is very horrible too. So it's not even that good of a thing to have killed them that way. Well, remember, it's like a blister agent and a nerve agent and everything all in one. It's horrible, horrible stuff if you look up what that real thing is like.
I remember a nerve agent attack like 2 years ago that was on the news, and it's like, oh no, this is pretty much the worst thing I've ever seen.
Well, remember, like a blister agent attacks also just like the outside of your fucking body too.
Mm-hmm. Going out in style.
Remember, she spent all this time learning to be a doctor. So...
And yet she immediately gets the lever action, and she's the best. I love it.
It's so hard not to say Tiananmen. I don't know why. Probably because it has the same letters and it starts with a T and an M. Or it starts with a T and ends with an M.
It's the brain fill kind of thing. Like, if you have a word where you, like, have the first and end of that word, you fill it in automatically, no matter if, like, the middle letters are all
I'll be the first one to point out before the comments can that, that ends with an M and Tiananmen ends with an N. So I don't even have that excuse anymore.
We can also be stupid. Yeah, the red comet.
Yeah, the recap this time isn't actually lasting all that long. 4 minutes and we're already there versus the 18 minutes we used to get.
Honestly, Char and all of his clones having a speed demon phase is like my favorite thing.
Coincidentally, Rise of the Red Comet is the cut-up name of this in show form instead of being a 6-episode thing.
I just remember Garma from last episode. It's like, isn't our armor supposed to deflect that?
Yeah, that's what my last comment for Theta thought was about. No, pointedly, Federation ships are just better. I suppose you're going to spend this entire episode watching him for him to die, so you can think that you're
I'm
right.
waiting for it. We already got told in episode 1, right?
No, you keep saying that happened. I'm saying he doesn't die here. Or at least he didn't die in the episode 1 flashback. Though in the flashback we do know that they retreat, so I guess that's what they're doing now.
Just soaking it all in Ozymandias style.
That's a cool little showing us how it works thing.
Yeah, it's like tiny details like that that don't even need to be seen, but it's great to get. This Char in the background.
This is it. That was the scene from the flashback in episode 1. Not dead, Griff. In the flash forward, though, we saw the other guy talking to him on screen. They didn't show it here, so I guess they just didn't reuse the shot.
We're about to have him like go on a suicide charge, though. Let's see how this goes.
You're separating your guys out by the amount of speed you can produce, which is going to make you easier to shoot. You don't have to be Reinhardt and a galactic hero to figure that one out.
That's right, Karma. You don't get to enjoy your comfy seat much longer. Coming for you.
Damn those Minovsky particles. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
See? Once I know how the universe works, I don't have to complain about how stupid it is to lose sight of somebody in open space. Because I know the Minovsky particle. You introduced that ahead of time. Oh god, if only we had a Haru to do this for us.
I think these two are the scariest position because they have no way to determine anything other than eyesight, and they're in this tiny-ass craft that can't have that much Delta V.
And one of them is fucking wearing glasses, which indicates the level of eyesight at hand. They've painted all of their ships black.
They're directly in the middle of the enemy fleets.
Where are you, Captain Falcon?
Back to his comfort group.
A long line of ships. Let's remember these guys are called the Black Tri-Stars. I don't think we've ever addressed that before.
They may have said it once last episode, if at all.
Well, it's MASH, Ortega, and that other guy, Gaia.
Yeah, the mobile suit pilots have been following for a while since the testing.
Yeah, the main first three testers before Char came around. The ones that have a problem with Char, in fact.
I can't imagine why they'd have a problem with him stealing all their spotlight.
Well, they gave a whole speech about it last episode.
I love the observation area they got here.
I appreciate that. The time required to ascertain if you're looking at a ship or not. Also consider that they're going into this believing that they have an insurmountable advantage. Because they do. They have, like, so many more ships than the Zeons do.
I do love, though, that we did get that, how long it takes for them to ID something. And now here's Char going max velocity.
And if you also recall from this in the flash forward, Char runs out of ammo.
Yeah.
I could have sworn, though, this is my dozel from your perspective, that Rebel dies here. I could have sworn we saw a shot of Char's bullet go through a bridge that looked like Rebel was on.
Yeah, I remember that too. We're getting there. We're now getting the horror story perspective.
It's the problem with your battleships. They can't keep up with the mobile suits.
Yeah, see, that should be pretty recognizable.
Oh, they're doing the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
They traveled in single file, so he couldn't detect their numbers. Though pretty ballsy of Dozel's ship to be taking the lead.
It's going in for the ram.
Nope, broadside.
God, I feel like I'm watching an episode of Star Trek. Everyone getting tossed around on the bridge. Oh, just barely missing the... Being within visual sightline in space from two battleships is hilarious.
Well, again, sayla spotted char from literally upper atmosphere. So...
Oh gosh.
I almost want to wonder who would win in a fight now. Dozel versus Reinhardt. But then again, Reinhardt has half of a galaxy's worth of ships. Unfair advantage.
Reinhardt is more set up to be a super genius. Dozel is just represented as being good at his job. That's it. And of course, taking advantage of the fact that the enemy does not
appear to recognize that space is three-dimensional.
Or respect his power at all.
I think
the whole rat biting a dog.
I think the three-dimensional thing is going to be the worst off here. That they didn't defend beneath them. Or how about all of their ships are leveled on a flat plane? Not one of them is flipped over to shoot down.
None of them are going nose down here ever.
And a billion years from time, some alien civilizations are really gonna hate us. All those bullets are flying out in every direction. I guess that is the clear advantage of laser weaponry v space fallout. That laser weaponry dissipates with time the further it travels.
Be a hell of a way to start a sci-fi story. It's like, one of your relativistic rounds hit our planet, killing billions. We've been out for revenge ever since.
I mean, not quite how the city works, but kind of the same thought process. Mm-hmm. Just with disease. The city's out for revenge on its citizens, because they all died of disease brought by humans.
Well, when it comes to fighter jet versus mobile suit wins.
Oh, we saw that before on the moon.
Oh yeah, ever so briefly. You're right.
Also, the confusion in my head now that we're watching Seed alongside this shit. is that we also got fighter craft versus mobile suit in that.
But we also have the world's best fighter pilot over in Seed.
That was your fault. You clearly hit the brakes right there.
This duckbill guy is gonna be the one survivor.
You say?
Never mind.
Literally got a knee to the cockpit. Oh, that sounds like such a great phrase right there. Got a knee to the cockpit, Griff.
Look, I'm gonna keep my cockpit well guarded here, alright?
The Federation's superior numbers mean nothing anymore.
All that matters is the new mobile suits.
This is... I think the comparison here is the Spanish Armada versus the British fleet. Because it's literally small, highly maneuverable vessels against a vastly superior, larger force.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that they don't really aim, but they do a whole...
They're cocky. They're just shooting from the hip with their rocket launchers.
Oh, there's a lot of it.
You are not making it through this battle, man.
I did not recognize him for a moment there. Visors, man, I'm visor blind.
He's all shell-shocked, too. Or, like, he just never has a... Oh, God. That's the shot we've been waiting for right there. Just the glass cracking.
Well, again, in the episode 1 flash forward, you see Char's bullet go into the bridge, like spin in the center, and then explode outwards, killing everybody in an instant. So clearly that was not Rebel ship we saw Char kill.
Alright, there you go. That just straight up anime right there. I took out my space axe and I cut the ship in half top to bottom.
I was already going to make fun of Seed for it, but when I realized they do it in this, why even
It's a
joke?
Gundam classic, honestly.
Is that Rebel?
Oh, that is the rinkiest little escape pod ever.
Well, you already saw him kill 2 of them. Why wouldn't you have your spacesuit helmet on?
Well, you know, it's uncomfortable in space. You gotta take it off and breathe, you know?
He had to take it off from the bridge to there. It's like they spend all of their time and research on battleship combat. Because you'd think that if they spent more time on their fighter craft combat, they could at least keep up with the mobile suits a little bit.
Right, they're... I would say anti-air defense does not seem to be worth anything versus these mobile suits. And I bet even if they did hit, they wouldn't penetrate anything, given, you know, the differences in armor.
Oh, your boy.
He is alive.
I think that's Duck Bill, right?
Space trash, human debris.
Yeah, it's Duck Bill.
Oh god, that is a good little sublime moment, just like looking out at all the devastation and he's just trapped there floating.
Yes, he turned off all of his safety limiters. The name!
Yeah, that was bad to kill somebody.
Go figure that your enemies on your own side gave you your nickname. Gotta hate that guy, but he's so goddamn cool.
But he is so goddamn cool. He's got the guitar riff playing. He may be out of ammo, but he ain't out of options.
Or ammo, as it turns out.
No, I think that's it.
Is that Kozin?
You're right.
From the conversation with Ramba in the bar last episode.
He's so goddamn cool.
Weird, respectful call out to Ramba, I guess.
I guess he just recognizes, one, the person who saved him in the first place, and two, like, oh yeah, the people under him were actually good people too. Oh, what are you up to, Caecilia?
I'm sorry, were we watching, G.I. Joe?
She's gonna go ninja mode here, let's see it,
No, that's a Cobra outfit if I ever saw one.
何を言っている。これは勝利の第一歩に過ぎん。最後の勝利に至るまで戦いはまだ終わらせるわけにはいかんのだ。兄上はまたそのような。木に望み、変に応ずという言葉を。
You're turning your back to Casilla an awful lot.
That feels like a poor decision, honestly. She's got so much menace just existing.
父上が望まれたことだ。兵は鼓舞され、歴史的勝利を間近に見られてご満足に違いない。もしもティアム艦隊が差し違える覚悟の時は、皇后陛下がこれを阻止されると。杞憂だな。連邦の腐った官僚軍人どもは。
I don't feel like you understand the question being asked.
Who's on which side? Who wants what to happen? Do they want him to die or not?
Just go figure that Deikun would be the nicest person in his family.
That was not the initial vibe we got off of him for sure.
But he's been anti everything his kids have been doing for the most part. How much blood do you need on your hands, Deikun? $459 meters.
あれを抜けばジオン本国です。突入すれば陥落させることも可能です。提督、我が艦隊の損耗は警備です。
Lose the battle, win the war, strike at him.
ダメだ。
Take the assassination strike.
突入はしない。なぜですか。すでに戦局は決している。しかし、我々の急務は配送するレビル艦隊の救援と撤退の支援だ。全艦反転。はい。全艦に次ぐ 逐次回答用意。レーザー回線機関圧力確認せよ。我々は負けていない。
I mean, fairness. If you go all out and you lose, you've got nothing left.
Yeah.
It's better to try and save something so you can fight back later, I guess.
It is the rational decision, technically.
It's the, if I wasn't playing this as though I was an RTS game and was really there, what would I do?
I feel like I'm finally catching my breath, though, after, like, what, a literal half hour of just brutal combat.
これで本当に勝ちですね、お父様。今度は僕も戦います。何でも言いつけてください。僕だって広告軍人ですから。
ガルマよ。お前はまだ若い。いや、幼い。戦争が恐ろしいものだということが分かっていない。くれぐれも景気を戻せぬことだ。ドズルに訓練せよ。
What's with this new weird uniform too? Who's the white guy? With the pink bow tie. Not bow tie, hairband. Look, I have to question anybody that looks like that in the middle of a scene like this.
It's called fashion, Theta. It's something you wouldn't understand.
The last time we had to ask that question, it was somebody with a name, right? So who the hell was this? I have to think this is creating some sort of space sarcasm now. Well, we saw Duckbill getting floating towards it, like
Yeah.
some sort of space gravitational well that everything's getting sucked into. Look at the wreckage of the
All
big.
the debris is in the same area, yeah, and it's gonna like congeal a little bit. Horrors of War anime, everyone.
They're paying their respects, so. Hey, Griff. CZN.
Oh, no.
I mean, regardless of all the horrible things that we've done, I am on the winning side right now.
Gotta dig the guy who's just like, yeah, I'm all down for Giran, the guy who barely shows up in public.
この勝利を好材料として連邦を交渉の場に引き出すのが賢明と思うが。お言葉ですが、我々は勝ち続けます。この先も、そして最後まで。交渉は最良の機会を捉えて、我々がそれを選択すればいいのです。そういうことを言って謝ったのだ。ナポレオンもヒトラーも。
Way to compare yourself.
No, not himself, his son.
すでに人類の経験領域の外に生き、歴史を育んできているのですよ。ジオンズム大君の最良の同志であった父上の言葉とも思えません。大君は何と言いましたか。スペースノイドは新しい種となり、人類を次段階の進化へと導くと高らかに宣言したではないですか。 まさに今大君の理想を現実にする好機を我々は手に入れたのです。今を置いてない唯一の機会を。邁進あるのみです。妥協ではなく、ただ前へ、前へ。
This is also the most animated I've seen Gira in this entire show, I think.
キリア。
はい。ここにおります。
どう思うか。わしは恐ろしい。
ご心配なくお力になります。
頼む。あれを止められるのは多分。
Like you stopped Sasra.
あれは鬼になった。
Back to the shadows, Caecilia.
悪魔に変じてあれについたのだ。あれはこの国を。 我が一族をも滅ぼす。
ご安心ください。このキシリアがついております。
Not a connection I saw coming either.
嫌です。参謀本部好きなんて絶対に嫌です。
I really do love her ninja presence this episode. It's so good.
手柄を立てさせてください。
しかしな、これは親父の希望で軍のトップが決めたことだし。
I mean, is Degwin not the top
兄
brass?
さんなら何だってできますよ。兄さんは
I guess he's referring to everybody else at that table from last
ま
time.
あな。
I'm sure they'd be even less excited to have this kid out there.
あいつは今度の戦訓で2階級特進して少佐になるって聞きました。
Everyone's getting them 2 rank promotions.
そういうことなら、お前も少佐に。
僕は何も働いてません。安全な場所で戦況を見ていただけです。ごめんですよ。お手盛りの昇進なんて。そんなことだから僕はバカにされるんです。所詮はザビ家のお坊ちゃんだって。
I mean, you did lead the Dawn... Well, you helped lead the Dawn Rebellion.
Gosh, that's like hanging on to like, oh yeah, I won the college football team event once.
イレン兄に相談してみる。
I mean, I don't think so. The Dawn Rebellion basically kicked all of this off.
And now he's worried he's like not doing anything.
Remember when we built our base out of a geode?
Where did they get the giant geode from?
This is all made from an asteroid, remember? Kind of like we see Side 7's being made from.
Mhm.
Wearing his well-known football helmet.
Yeah.
我らが誇る選手たちは輝けるこの勝利によって大君の偉大な教えを証明した。スペースノイドは世界に冠たるであろうという教えだ。
So this is actually the opposite of the dehumanizing effort, right? We're not dehumanizing our enemy, we're making them human by making ourselves better than human. We're gonna humanize you into the dirt. Oh, that's not how I thought that speech was gonna end. Because I'm always expecting a Seek Zeon from Kieran.
It's only the casual racism at the party, Theta.
It's not racism, Griff.
It's spacism.
I guess it's speciest?
君の働き見させてもらったよ。
ガルマ、君も立派になったな。
再生への空挺師団好き少佐だ。今日付けで配属になった。
それはめでたい。君に似合いの部署だな。
艦隊戦と違って地上部隊での制圧は難儀だ。泥と血にまみれる。
うん。
階級は少佐だけど。
I'm trying to kill this family, and this kid's gonna get himself killed. It's working out wonderful for me.
ルームの残敵を相当するつもりだ。
ほう。
僕には無理だと。今そう思ったな、シャー。
そんなことはない。ただ危険な任務だ。君には似合わない汚れ仕事だ。出銀行やドズル閣下がよくそれを。
関係ない。僕は僕だ。
He's not even trying and he's pushing all of his buttons.
シャー、僕だって。
I mean, it'd be weird at this point
あの頃の僕じゃない。
if he didn't break Garma's balls a little bit. Because
Yeah.
that's their relationship. Now kiss.
Oh, back to the terrorism. Let's go.
Well, no, he just said He's taking the ground assault to Loum. I appreciate that they're throwing all the cars and shit being thrown up in the air.
Those 4 people are dead. Oh gosh.
Yeah, see, it's literally what we were just talking about.
I appreciate this entire series just being as brutal as possible about what's going on.
But the stupidity of doing all the controlling from an open cockpit sort of thing. One sniper and Garma's gone.
They're trying. Oh yeah, the drop and shell stuff.
The more he feels like he's less than somebody, the more fanatic he becomes. The prison. Just the prison.
Well, that was a quick interrogation.
Well, I mean, it's opposite. Makov, whatever the fuck his name is.
本物はローマ時代の模索。これはさらにその模索でルネサンス期のものか。
Anyway, it stands opposed to their meeting back when he was apologizing for the Dawn Rebellion and said, "We'll let all of this go if you just pull out and leave all your shit here."
We are now getting a vibe for this person.
To be fair, I already had this vibe about him without the scene being necessary.
高かったのだろうな。
はい、それなりに。
宇宙世紀謎と嘘吹いてみても、我々の歴史はたかだか100年にも満たん。だからバカにされる。
所詮はただの成り上がりよ。
Johnny come latelys. Not what I expected to hear from this.
では私はこれで失礼します。ごゆっくり。
Yeah, I'd have that vibe if Casilius was entering the room. It's like, well, gotta go suddenly.
陛下のお気持ちはよくわかりました。人類史上最悪であるこの戦争はやめなければなりません。カインとアベルの昔から人の反目と争いは絶えず、人と人とは分かり合えずにいる。
If only they had some Sympho gear cell.
そうした呪縛からの解放を考えた。宇宙を含む万物が神の創造物であるにせよ。かつて新大陸に渡ることで得た解放感に数倍する希望を我々宇宙移民が得て悪いことがあろうか。大君はそう考え、新世紀のプロトコルを表した。 我々同士はその旗のもとに集った。
Then killed him.
新しい
Yeah.
人間への希望が、かくもおぞましい憎しみと大破壊を招くとも知らず。レビル将軍、ことを収めることはできないか。
At the same time, I believe that he's being honest. He wants the war to end.
Yeah, he's been on that for at least like the past 2 episodes. I just like Dagon taking direct action here.
わかる。わかっている。よくわかっているとも、レビル将軍。
私はそういった交渉には不向きな人間です。
Oh, we're gonna release him so he can negotiate?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, the other way to read that is, I understand what it is to be in power but still imprisoned. Because, you know, Giran is gonna go against him if he tries to end the war.
これは私の一存ではありません。ギレン総帥も同じお考えです。 地球の富と国土を手に入れるのです。だからこそ地球に魅力を感じないものをやるわけにはいかないのです。
2つほど質問をしてもよろしいでしょうか。
どうぞ。
ご存知の通り、戦争には相手が必要です。連邦の戦意が決定的に失われている場合、振り上げた拳をどこへ下ろすべきか。
もう一つの質問もある。
Create an opponent to fight against so the war will never end.
Yeah.
私と私の軍はいわば敵の中にパラシュート降下するのです。こう言ってはなんですが、捨て駒にはなりたくない。
二つ目からお答えしましょう。ガルマザビをあなたの下に配属させます。デギン皇王が最も寵愛するガルマをです。皇王が決して
Well, there you go, commenter. Celia will use Garma as a pawn.
Yeah.
最初の質問に対する回答。人間はいついかなる時も本質的に戦いを望むものです。愚かに。
Which is why I formed Cobra.
懸命にも戦争継続の手はすでに打ってあります。マクベ中将、これだけは覚えておいてください。あなたは他の凡将とは違う。高い器量を持って。
Oh, talking him up so much.
私はギレン総帥を。
I'm just more confused why she pulled the thing up over her face.
Because she's hiding her killing intent.
Wait, you think she has one of those anime grins whenever she wants to kill somebody?
Yeah, she's like giggling under her mask the entire time.
あんな奴俺は好かん。しかも和平交渉と来よった。そんなものどうなろうと知るが。気がかりだったのは貴様のような有能な士官が奴についていってしまうことだったが、よく残ってくれたな。
地球は小に合いません。根っからのスペースノイドですから。内々の打診もお断りしました。
間違えるな。子供の喧嘩ではないから部下の取り合いなどはせん。貴様を奴にくれたくなかったのは別にさせたい仕事があったからだ。
Oh, secret mission time.
それはどのような。
連邦の新モビルスーツ開発が秘密裏に進行している。
They know
V
the
作
main
戦と呼ば
plot.
れているらしい。
Well, I mean,
この宇宙のど
with
こ
the whole thing on the moon, I don't think they wouldn't know. Especially with Minovsky trying to get to the other side. I love it when my printer looks around to make sure there's no spies.
And it's a shredder all in one.
That's better than having it explode.
この
I-
間の戦争
Inspector Gadget can learn from that.
Star Wars.
だが V 作戦の脅威なぞと言っても所詮わからん奴らにはわからん。そこで貴様に命令する。あらゆる兆候を捉え、抵抗を排し、V 作戦の基地を探り出し、叩き潰せ。
Thus leading us to Noah, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, we already know that's where they're hiding it, right? The development area, where they would shoot a bunch of kids for getting too close. Char, it's a ship?
Yep. He's just getting all the best stuff.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he accomplishes everything.
ありません。シャー少佐、任務に邁進します。
The little grin where it's like, yeah, I fooled you.
Does this ship have a helmet too?
The first thing he does with his first command ship does a sick flip with it. You know what? I like his vibe.
ポンコツパプアの改造補給艦に乗っていた者には眩しすぎますね。チャー艦長。
艦長は君だ。ドレンチ。
冗談はよしてください、少佐殿。
冗談を言ったつもりはない。
He's already accepted it. He called him Captain Char first. No, you're Captain Lieutenant Dren. You gotta be joking, Lieutenant Commander Char.
私は一度も良い船乗りになろうなどと思ったことはない。私は大宇宙の戦士だ。どんな船よりも早く自由に天かける騎士だ。テストを続行しろ、艦長。
では、負傷ドレン注意、艦長代理を拝命します。直ちに戦闘訓練に入る。総員
Spread the nose.
艦隊間戦闘配置。いいか、訓練だなどと思うな。万事実践のつもりでやれ。想定戦闘中域へ向かう。左舷へ90度回答。
I love like how he's just trying his best. He's got like the energy here.
I mean, it makes sense.
Queen of the Night.
抜かるなよ。
了解しました。お尋ねしますが。
なんだ。
今回の作戦名、青い鳥にはどんな意味が？
前世紀コールドウォーの時代、アメリカとソ連が初めて合作した映画。マクベに聞け、イサイは。
I mean, to be fair, you're what, like 100 years out from that era too, so it's not like... It's alright to be learning lessons, I think.
Alright, I see how they're planning it. They're doing it as a breakout, not as a like diplomatic trade.
Because again, Giran would be against this. We can't upset our own political order, so we have to make this look like it's something else. Can't answer that one. Or making it look like he's dead?
I guess so, yeah.
I'll be ashamed if you get crushed under a mobile suit.
Oh, alright, they had what seemed like a clean getaway, then they just started firing into the local buildings.
I guess because they have to make it look like the Federation is breaking him out?
I guess so. Not allowed to answer that either. Ah, the good old cargo terminal. We've been here before.
I at least appreciate that we're, oh, that thing just fits. I at least appreciate that we already leveled back towards the Cold War, because that's the fucking shit that we're up to right now. We're attacking ourselves for the benefit of ourselves. Okay, what becomes of this guy, though? Not Rebel, the other guy.
Good question. Still a cool-ass breakout, though. Mission: give old man a heart attack is a go.
Yeah, what if he got T-blowed right here? I appreciate now that we have, like, words for these things.
標的艦ロックオン前方サラミス級距離8蓋1丸
メガ粒子砲エネルギー充填 92%
対艦ミサイル発射準備完了よ
ーしまずミサイルを3連射しかるのち
I guess this is our sarcasm we were talking about.
射程距離60から50で当てろいいかエネルギー充填 120%
1番から3番発射準備よし
One might suggest that's too much. Too much charge.
何か
艦長いや艦長ダリ殿この標的艦は変です接近速度が速すぎますこのサラミスは生きてます
何
They're still alive.
Nani?
1.1km パーセカンドまもなく有効射程距離に入ります
どうします
どうするドレン艦長
距離7900速度やや落ちました
気づいたなこっちに
なんだ話が違うじゃないかこのエリアには戦闘艦を置かないという約束だったはずだ無罪接近して
Oh, is Char gonna fuck all this up?
Yes, yes, he is. Complete accident.
I also guess that because Zeon has all the mobile suits and thus all the Minovsky generators, that's why their ships can be hidden, and it seems like the Federation ships can't.
Yeah, they haven't quite caught up on that technology yet.
Okay, Borg.
ルームで戦艦5隻が沈められたという赤い彗星よりによってなんというやつ
He only got that nickname last week. Where are you guys getting that from?
どれ警告射撃をしろ一斉射だ
I said across their nose, not up it.
全砲塔発射用意1番砲塔は敵艦の右舷2番3番は左舷側を狙え警告だぞいいか
I guess Char doesn't like Federation or Zeon, right? So maybe he's on the same boat as Giran, the never-ending war thing.
This isn't the show where we get his final objective, I think.
No, I'm just saying that if he fucks this up, it's not really fucking it up for him.
どれ私はザクで出るデニムに援護させる接舷して待て
ちょっとシャー少佐
Poor guy.
Yeah, what are you gonna do when the shuttle arrives with Revel?
I think it already did. I think they grabbed it and left already.
I don't think so. I think this is the rendezvous ship.
Yeah, I think the rendezvous already happened.
No, I think this is the rendezvous ship that they're waiting for Revel to come. Because otherwise, why would they still be here? Would they just go back to HQ with Revel? Look, even the women on the other side are all about it. Yeah, but now we have a hostage? So what?
なぜ入り込んだどうやって何のために
敵は一人だ
Exactly. I'm with that guy.
やれる
Oh my gosh.
I'm no longer with that guy.
Guy just hip fired a plasma rifle.
Just hip fired a gun as long as his leg.
Never mind that their ship is already in the broadside line.
Yeah, I guess you were right. This doesn't make sense to me why he wouldn't be on their way back to HQ.
Oh, let's get the conspiracy started.
失礼ながらお尋ねします。あなたはレビル対象閣下でいらっしゃいますか？
いかにもわしはレビルだが、そうと知ったらどうする？任務に忠実なジオン軍士官よ。
閣下のご上官とは知りませんでした。航行を妨げたご無礼をお許しください。以後どうぞ。
Once again, the casval who can read a situation, understand it, and just go with the flow.
His surprise was like is super genuine too. He really is just a master of winging it.
I kind of just fucking love Tren, by the way.
Oh, he's got such great energy.
Look at all the weapons. Oh, I guess they don't need me then.
He's trying so hard.
いいんだどれ。あの船は私には過ぎた宝船だった。危うく最高の政治賞を台無しにするところだったよ。
Char just be like, I want to see what happens to this.
Like I said, he's an expert of going with the flow. They didn't give a date. How can you not give us a date?
Surrender effectively urged.
Oh, hey, finally. Episode 2 to now.
They've been traveling around, you know.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Anaheim. Or Zeonic.
Gosh, I feel like there's a little subtext in there that we're not going to get until way later.
Well, we don't have no idea. We don't have any idea who Cameron is to, like, suppose anything. It's the first time they've been mentioned.
Oh, he's got a car now. Yo, he upgraded.
Yeah, from nothing. Or a scooter, rather, sorry. Quick, hit him with the car! He's already a zombie. Just fucking hit him.
Arboro, express a little more, please. He's just dodging.
Oh, you don't want to tell this guy anything. Last time you listened to him, he almost got shot.
True. Well, at least tell him to just fuck off, Arboro. Come on.
父に頼まれたんです。中の作業所からメモリーチップの入ったカバンを取ってきてくれって。
だからそういうことだから。
ガンダムって何です？
He knows. Oh, I just got him interrogated.
Yeah. 君がアムロ君か。
Didn't drink any of your coffee.
ウィリアム・ケンプ。
Who
君のお父さんと一緒に仕事をしているものさ。
やっぱり軍人さんなんですね。
Uniform didn't give that away.
じゃあ教えてくれますよね、ガンダムのこと。
ガンダムの存在をいつから知っている？
This is your interrogation, Amuro.
何のことです？父さんは、いえ、父
Tell him all about how your dad can't keep a door locked.
ではなぜ知っている？
Oh, that'll make everyone there angry.
僕の方です。ガンダムって何なんですか？
You're not asking the questions, Amuro. Sorry.
Well, you're making it sound like you don't know anything.
I feel like this is slightly more cleaned up. Security mode was not successful.
I feel like if Amuro had said more, he could have gotten more.
At least the adults are sensible there. They just told the kid to stop messing around and go home.
And it took all evidence of his claims from his house, evidently.
Assuming that's the Federation they're doing it, yeah.
Well, I'd have to think so. Scraped up the walls, too. Yeah, they took away the mainframe. Would have had to.
Oh, I love this Haru.
Would have had it if not for the fact that they got the element of surprise. Like I said, this has to be the drag marks for the mainframe.
Absolutely.
Could have at least cleaned the house.
God, nothing sadder than an empty room like that, jeez. Or maybe that was like Char's mission and he actually fully accomplished it there.
I don't think so. I think Amuro just brought attention to himself, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that American flag. Like they still exist.
Never said they didn't exist. I said that they got completely wrecked.
メディア関係はいいんだな。
はい。コロニー圏を含む全世界で主要局のほとんどが生中継します。歴史的な大演説になります。
今は君に行かれるのは大変辛いんだがね。しかしジオン制圧下のここにはいられないというのでは。
Oh, sayla. Yep.
Yep.
どうだろう。この後のことだが、サイドセブンへ行ってみる気はないかね。
We need all of our main characters to be in one place. If you could help us with that.
ジオンの色はついていない。これはルナ2。
There's this little depressed kid named Amuro who could use a nurse.
これですの？サイドセブン。
ジオンのサイド3とは反対側の開発エリアということもあるが、まあこんなところはいくらジオンでも。しかし3万人ほどの工事関係者がいる。そこが現在無依存状態で。こういう状況かとはいえ。
No way, no way they planned that poorly. No, don't have a single doctor over there for 30,000 people.
They probably do, Griff. They probably do, but they're probably all on the military side.
Hmm.
Gop, not Gop D. Where did you get the D from?
I would honestly love it more if people in universe mispronounced each other's names all the time.
Gotta be like 100. Gotta be in as many languages as exist in the real world, at least, right?
Yeah, they're apparently doing like a super wide broadcast, so someone's gotta mess up here.
レビル閣下。いやあ、ワッケン君。よく生きていてくれた。ルームではすまなかった。お急ぎください。時間がありません。
We gotta get you to the bomb site in time.
いや、エルラン君。驚いたよ。
I guess this is the opportunity for the other guy to get back on the Zeon side. Because otherwise, I keep waiting for someone arrest this man.
レビル君は何というかね、決まってますよ。じゃあ我々のここでの会議は全く。
Oh, they're all expecting him to like demand more war.
ことはありません。戦時条約を結べばいいんです。核兵器、生物、化学兵器の使用禁止。
Yeah, before those enter the field, right?
小惑星を爆弾として使うこともです。戦争をするのはいいが、もっと綺麗にということか。
I guess we already did chemical with Triple G.
At least now we got the why would people in the Federation be down for this forever war stuff? Well, here's your dude, here's your answer.
Brother. So I don't know.
本番15秒前。10秒前。5秒前。
Peace declaration. For war.
地球圏の皆さん、私はヨハン・イブラヒム・レビルです。連邦宇宙軍大将として UFO ルーム救援作戦を指揮しました。結果は大敗でありました。司令官であった私の作戦と戦闘指揮が原因であります。本物なのか。
なんで中佐の軍服なんだ。
ご承知の通り、私は負傷しジオン本国で捕虜となっていました。今こうして友軍基地からお話ができているのは、勇敢なる我が軍の将兵によって救出されたからであります。数十万の将兵と多数の艦艇を失いました。責任は全てこの私にあります。私がその栄光と誇りを失わしめた友軍によって救出されたのは神のご加護があったからです。
Char gets to do nothing but be smug here about it.
Well, you remember this, it started with him saying, "Take that, God," or something like that, so.
Oh, God, what a line.
その任を命ぜられることがあるならば、私は全身全霊をもって雪辱を期すでありましょう。現在南極において休戦条約の交渉が行われていることは知っております。無論私も平和を望んでいます。しかし現時点での休戦はなりません。それは休戦ではありません。降伏であります。
So this is Girin's ploy, without even Girin having to do anything.
He's not wrong.
Not why I freed you, you son of a bitch!
I wanted this peace talk so it would leave with me in control.
No, he wanted peace. He just wanted peace. There's that guy you couldn't remember at the very end of the line still.
Still hanging out.
ルーム相当の功が認められ大佐に昇進しました。北アメリカ方面西部地区司令として
Slapped? Getting slapped?
運動性ガルマ運知らずどもを黙らせて
Okay.
Mad.
はい。
好戦的な地球人たちを徹底的に叩きのめしてこい
So we've even turned Deikun into the bad guy from the bad guy. Various levels of bad guy going on here.
Got everyone at the same place now, at least.
このままのどかであってくれればいいのだがね。
コロニー落としというような蛮行を彼らがあえて行ったのはなぜか。
戦争はまだ続くのかしら。
ああ、破局がまだ十分でない。人はまだ行き着くところまで行っていないんだろう。
I think that's an entirely wrong read. Wait, we're just saying that out loud? Okay.
He's gonna be the Hell Monster.
Okay, it's weird that they didn't do that for anybody else. Why did they do that for her?
Maybe that's just how they're ending it up here.
Well, this is where they wind up scenario. Lean on me, if you will.
Oh wait, it's the other punks.
Yeah, it's Fraud Gang.
カイさん、あんなこと言ってますけど。何してんですか？
It's a new thing called Beats by Dre.
聞いてんの？じゃあ戦争もう終わるのかな。
どうもね、そうもいかないみたいよ。なかなか。
Weird that we're doing this.
We know where they end up later, I suppose.
I mean, it's a bit of a spoiler, but couldn't just let us watch the next show, I guess.
Is it a spoiler if they all end up in the same place in the first episode? I don't think so.
Child care.
The girlfriend position. Show us the kids, like, continues to serve as child soldiers.
Guy we met one episode ago. The one that we didn't need. I think everyone knows Amuro pilots the Gundam.
The worst space bus ever.
No, I'd say that Char's entire family was on the worst space bus ever. You gonna give us a pop-up for Sayla?
It's like, oh, politics, oh, I'm leaving.
It's better than reading that Let's Go Climbing book in the seat in front of her. Later active. Don't tell us the entire fucking story in a pop-up.
Again, it's a prequel.
Then we don't need that. Just assume that we're either going to watch it or have. Die 7 minutes later.
Immediate cut.
Well, it just... God, I wish they wouldn't do that. I wanted everybody's position or something to be a surprise. And you know I'm gonna have to go look back in all of this and figure it all out anyway.
I really was like, there was no way that Amuro's like bullies or punks like weren't going to tag along, like they had to, right?
To be fair, they could entirely be like victims and die, right? Like, oh, my bully sacrificed his life so I could live sort of scenario. Unexpected,
Right.
but something.
He's not a bad person inherently. He's just an
Well, look,
asshole.
it's Operation
right?
Meteor Drop.
A meteor. So one thing that hangs in my mind a little bit that I've received some talk on before is McQueeve, right? Where he and Cassilia are having the Johnny Come Lately talk in the art museum, where it's like they're all very clearly conscious and like very anxious that people don't take them seriously, and they are trying to build up a legacy by stealing everyone else's. Like, that is like the most Nazi thing they could do, short of killing half the planet, right? That's like the essence of like trying to build fascism. You have to create your mythology. And that's what they're doing there. Taking all the artifacts, trying to build up their own reputation with it. I'm like, this is it's a shorter scene than I thought it was going to be, but like it's a good one for explaining like their personal motivations into it, like on a broader spectrum.
It's also very much a 40K thing.
Mm-hmm.
The God Emperor of Mankind and his little associate who keeps track of histories and everything. He does
Alcador, I think.
Yeah, he does the collecting too. Well, I guess they both technically keep their own collections, but I think his is supposed to be even bigger than the God Emperor's. Hey, it's Zeon.
Damn it. You can't just keep hitting me with that.
Well, Zeon, Griff, I don't know what to tell you.
Damn it.
It's not my fault your Earth Space Force Federation, whatever, doesn't have a thing to say.
I know, the gravity of Earth is still tying me down, you know?
I'm just saying that there's no Federation equivalent slogan.
Oh, there he is, riding up in the tank, McQueen.
Again, it just seems like no one learned a lesson anywhere in history about don't ride open top. Hey, that guy, Garcia.
Yeah, he's there.
He exists. He's on the board.
He's gonna have to do more later, for sure.
Remember when Garma went to Hollywood?
I guess, like Chryselia was saying, we need people who can actually be charmed by Earth and know why it's valuable.
Well,
so
I mean,
there's Garma, just
very much just goes to show you. You said America got wrecked. Hollywood seems fine, Griff. Yeah, I said the shit fell in the unpopulated parts of America. The thing said.
That's got to be the most Hollywood movie ever, though. It's like, this summer, America is destroyed, but one town, Hollywood, remains.
No.
The bastion of America.
A lot of America is fine. It's probably why most of the people died of starvation and everything, 'cause the farmlands and everything.
Right. We are definitely, like, set up
now
for...
we're carpet bombing.
One.
Hey, isn't that where the fight from Witch for Mercury took place?
That's just jungle. That's just an empty mesa. Nobody lives there, man. What are you doing?
Well, to be fair, we don't know where Earth Federation has its bases buried under.
True.
Go figure the entire Earth Federation defense would put its base in somewhere in South America.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are set up officially now for episode 1 of the series once we get to it.
Well, technically, I think that's either tomorrow or the day after on our recording. So literally, there will be just like a day or a couple of days between us, you seeing this now, and us watching the next thing. That's for you, the audience, not you, Griff.
Oh, yeah.
So they know we're still having it in mind. Or what little bit of research I was able to get done. White base.
It's the ship.
The thing that you said that I'll go to. I'm going to have to at least do a little bit of concept board for this episode so that we can start.
Yeah, here's everyone that's on the ship, and then we're gonna cross them out when they all die. Hey, they caught up.
Minovsky craft, yeah. Which means he can hide.
あとは任務の遂行だな、ブライト君。はい。
Just say it out loud. The captain's gonna die.
後で環境にご案内します。とうとうだ。
What are you not doing on side 7?
アムロ、父さんはやったぞ。
Wow, that picture looked nothing like him from that previous second. Arguably still doesn't look anything like him.
Finally, I'll do one thing for you now that I'm done with my life's work.
I'm one day away from retirement.
And now, Gundam begins.
Hey, Hillary says it at the end, makes me don't watch this first. To be fair, just spoil the shit out of itself. Who? Who said that?
I don't know. I can't recognize the voice.
Will you be able to survive? Who? Who? I'm gonna imagine Char, maybe? Char said that. And then we have to wonder who he's talking to.
So we are definitely... I'm excited to get Char episode 1 out of this, I think. That's what I'm excited to see. Just straight up Armor versus Char, day 1.
Oh, it's gonna be such a hard hit going back to 70s animation style.
Right, because this is, like, amazing. This is, like, all the modern animation, like, lots of people working on it. Great quality. And we're gonna go back to, like, one dude making, like, one drawing and then just doing their best to work from there.
Well, it's also a different type of storytelling, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. That this isn't told, or the story isn't focused on the same things. Because, again, this is a different director from everything else. And like I said, there's going to be a movie that we're going to get, I think the next movie that we watch, which is Gundam 76 or 79, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We watch that series next, and then the movie, which is going to be directed by the same guy who directed The Origin.
Oh, yeah. I definitely got to say, if I could get more of this, if I could get like all of the original stuff redone exactly like this, I would totally watch it all in a heartbeat. I would buy a DVD box set.
Oh,
like,
yeah, of course. I mean, I've been put to task, basically, what's the favorite Gundam thing so far? In which from Mercury was riding so hard as my number 1 for so long that I had a hard time considering, what's better, Origin or Witch from Mercury? I think this puts Witch from Mercury down to number 2. I like the Origin more than Witch from Mercury. It does everything that I wanted, other than maybe the romance thing, but I wasn't really looking for that here. This is like the setup for everything else.
Right. That's tangential for you. You're not the audience for that. You're not the audience for the Gar, Char, Yaoi either. So, it's you take what's here for you, right?
I don't know why you say I'm not the audience for that either. I mean,
well, if you are, you're going to get plenty of that too, then.
One assumes, I don't know, again, different director. We have to watch like the first couple of episodes of original Gundam to be able to even tell what the pacing is going to be like there.
Oh, gosh, no. Yeah, it's going to be complete tonal whiplash, that's for sure.
But yeah, well, before we do any other commentary, we entered into this with like a question, 2 questions. Then we wanted to wait until we watched this episode, of course, see if any of that changed. Did this episode change any of that for you? Any of your 2-question thing?
I don't think it does. I think, so we have our 2 questions. The first one, I think, will be our top episode. I would still rank, like, this last one really high because it has so much good things going for it, like all of this political conspiracy stuff, which I love. But I think my favorite episode still has to be Dawn of Rebellion, because it is the most episode of all the episodes. I know.
Not even the longest episode, which is funny.
It is more like a singular sequence of events rather than a whole bunch of, like, here's what's happening here, here, here. It is this is how it starts. We're following Char and Garma. Here's their little story here. We get to see like a lot of twists to Char's personality, where he's like, he's putting on his act. He's enjoying being the big guy around. He's like developing some kind of relationship with Garma, and that's clearly clashing with his desire for revenge too at the same time. And it is just the most him being surprised episode. It is fun to see him. We get to see Garma like become like a different person. Like he just is a kid before who like wants acknowledgement. Now he has grown into being something during that episode. And of course, it has some of the most hard-hitting battle that we've seen in a while. Just literally straight up brutal, not even a mobile suit in sight, straight up action warfare. It was great. I loved it.
I mean, my only debate there is I don't think Garma was a person looking for attention before that episode. Because he only shows up like, Garma, ride with me. Garma, come over here. Garma, let's go to the funeral. Garma doesn't know what he's about until this episode. I think, unsurprisingly, I should also add, the episode that I said was the best episode of Gundam is also my top episode. So we're in agreement on this one. I might have the nitpicks about little specific things that you said, but
that's fair. That's fair. We always will.
Yeah, it's very much the best episode of Gundam so far to all of our watchings.
It really does like get you a hit of like everything right there. I loved it. What about your top 3 characters? Who are your favorites in the series?
I figured we should just go back and forth with the numbers on this one.
Sure thing, then.
My number 3 is Dozel Zabi. He is
Dozel Zabi.
He is a lot, both in physical appearance and, because he has this whole thing that we've gone over this whole time where he's like, defend the kids, kill half the kids of Earth,
Dozel Zabi is comedic and serious at the same time, and that is just one of my types of characters. That is the type of character I choose to like play when I play D&D, right?
Well, as I said, he's
fun to watch.
He's Winnie the Pooh meets Vegeta. It's very much a complicated mix, and the fact that he also turns out to be a family man that cares about kids, but also this hardened warrior who's like ripping up the metal off his ship when he's watching his men die. He's a lot of different characterizations boiled into one.
He is a ball of contradictions, and it is fun to see him have no idea how to answer it. My number 3 favorite here, I think, would have to be Crowley Hammond. And I think I illustrated that earlier. It's like, I think she is like the main force acting in this like inside Zeon counter group that Ramba is a part of, as well as like Tachi. She is like so weirdly competent at everything. She just like has a coolness factor. And I want to see more of her. I want to see her doing more and like going on cool spy missions. She could have a show around her, and I would probably watch it. And like half of the time you just go back to the bar and she plays piano or something. It's great.
Yeah, sure. Ramba's Angels. I mean,
Ramba's Angels, Crowley, Tachi, and Clamp, the bartender.
I mean, I gave considerable thought to putting her on my list, but she didn't make it for me.
There's a lot of good characters. I would have to say it's hard to say there's a bad character, someone who is not fun to watch, who we don't want to ever see on screen again. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Cecilia Zabi. Another character who is literally got their fingers in everything.
I'm gonna be real. That's my number 2 as well.
Well, at least we're even on that one.
She is so fun. Again, for kind of the same reasons as Crowley, but she is the more active character between them. She is involved from day one. She is mugging it up. She has plans. Everything goes through with her. She is this agent of chaos. She's a goddamn ninja in this episode.
At the end, she joins Cobra. Cobra Commander has actually been in charge of Gundam all along. I don't know. It just she gives me the read of, oh, you thought you were in control, You know,
Exactly.
She tries to manipulate Giran. She manipulates Deikun. And I don't think anybody else in the family even fucking knows what she's up to.
Out of all the zombies, she is the one that is the coolest. And I would, like, in my own story, want her to just win this. To, like, have her, like, do this conspiracy battle between Giran and Caecilia, and we just have her come out on top. She's in charge now, and she's like, why is the war still going with Caecilia in charge? Answer, because it's Caecilia, and she's gonna do whatever she wants.
I mean, I would argue the fact that you say Caecilia is the coolest of the family, but I guess according to my top 3 chart, she was the coolest. She's the last zabi on my list.
Dozel is fun, but I would not say he is cool. He is enjoyable.
If these were real people, Dozel is the one I'd want to be closest to among the two of them.
Absolutely. Like I said this episode, I would not want to be in the same room as Caecilia. She walks into the room and I go, oh, it's time for me to leave suddenly for no reason.
Well, that's why you get killed, because you've brought attention to yourself.
That's right. I have brought dishonor to myself. I have insulted her, and now I'm on her hit list. So I'm dead anyway, no matter what I do. It just depends on if I'm doing it to her face or not.
Caecilia walks into the room and it turns into that Simpsons gif. I'm in danger.
If we were to also call coolness into factor on everyone else, Garma is not cool. He's sort of the whiny kid trying his best to live up to everyone. He's just a person. And Giran has no emotion other than mugging at the camera every now and then.
Well,
he's not cool, he's evil.
Well, Giran, I don't know. Giran's not cool, he's just in control.
Right.
Because even Degwin's like, I have to go behind Giran's back, otherwise this war is gonna last forever.
If you think Degwin is the coolest of the Zabi family, post down in the comments so we can have a laugh at it.
Well, I mean, arguably he should be. I mean, he's not cool, but
yeah,
he is the, hey, let's not commit mass murder. Hey, let's stop the war. Hey, let's stop killing people. Hey, we have accomplished everything we needed to accomplish. What if we just call it a day? He's clearly the Zabi, besides maybe Dozel. They should be on the side of the most.
So, would it surprise you that now that I have named 2 really cool characters, that my last top character is in fact the coolest? It is literally just Casval. He is the coolest.
Disappointment. No, you said I'm
Why
going to
would I not? It is his story. He's got all the focus. He is so damn awesome that even the people who hate him, like, give him the cool-ass nickname.
No, I just mean that you said I'm going to pick the coolest character, and I thought for a moment, oh, we're going to be simpatico for the top 1, right? Because I thought I picked the coolest character. And
the Haro? Yeah, no, you picked the Haro. I understand.
No, I picked who I thought was actually the coolest character, and you've clearly subverted that by picking one of the main characters.
Who do you think then is the coolest character? Who is your number 1?
Well, here, I'm going to give you just take a guess first. Give me a guess.
Alright, I already guessed the Haro. I'm guessing it's not actually that, even though he could have beaten up those thieves if he wasn't surprised.
You've gotten the big clue that it's not one of the main characters, because I never pick a main character as the top.
Right, it's not Mira, because
and
she's
I
like
consider them, and I consider them to be the coolest.
The coolest. I need a vibe here. I'm reading our board. The coolest person. It's Kai. It's Kai Shinden.
Do you have a non-joke answer, or?
No, that is my final real answer.
Is that because
my joke answer was the horror?
Is that because I switched screens and my mouse fell somewhere near that side of the board? Is that the only reason you picked Kai Shinden?
No, absolutely not. I was just like knocking people down, going like, can't be him, can't be him, can't be the old woman who's dead.
But Sion's actual wife?
Ramba
Ral. Ramba Ral is fucking the coolest. What are you talking about? He not only gets into fist fights in a karaoke bar, he tells Haman what to do, and she seems infatuated with him, although I do think he is gay. I'm not, like, trying to pull that sort of thing, but he has this whole thing where he says, oh, if only you were a man, sort of thing to Haman, and it's like, she's kind of attractive. Maybe if she was a man, he'd be interested, sort of thing. He's got all of Dozel's thing, where all these men are like still like, we used to serve under him, and now we wish you hadn't like retired or something, because I wanted to serve with you again. That's what
just
goes
strikes
him.
me as military man, is all.
Yeah, but not everybody does that. The Black Tri-Stars aren't all about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I guess,
then he's hanging out in the bar. He stands up to Dozel in the same sort of shift that Deikun is all about. We need to stop the war. This is pointless. He's all the best parts of the worst people and all the worst parts of the best people.
He's a fun, complicated character. Like I said, there's no bad characters that I don't want to see again here. But if I were to describe Rambo Rawl, I wouldn't be going with cool. I would say he has the most 80s old Japanese man energy of the entire series.
He wraps his fists up and gets into a bar brawl with a bunch of Federation people that are insulting the girl at the bar, and then shoves the mic down the other guy's throat. That's fucking cool, Griff. That's cool.
He's got old Japanese man energy. That's exactly it right there. When he is huffing off in his spacesuit, that is old Japanese man energy.
Yeah, that scene.
We're 40 years out from this, from his original personification.
That scene was old man energy. The earlier scenes, though, I'm talking about, like when this scene, the picture is taken from where he gets scratched to hell rescuing a cat for a little girl. Or, where he blocks the Zeons from getting the kids by having a blowout tire. He's just doing cool shit all over the place.
From the first episode, we kind of noted the way that the characters here have like this energy. They are all willing to like emote drastically and shout everywhere. And it's great to see that, as opposed to like a lot of like the more stoic things that we get like in other series a whole lot. That was a good breath of fresh air. And that kind of comes from sort of being like starting as an older Japanese anime with a more of that time period energy, so more people inhabit that. But the person who most inhabits the zeitgeist of when this was made is Rambo Rawl. He is the person
coolest.
Who best represents. I didn't say coolest, but he is the representative.
I would argue, Griff, that the representative character of the series and the zeitgeist of its era is the dude the show takes all of its time spent on. Rambo Rawl is not doing.
A man of the future here. He is not of his era.
No,
he is born in space. The Earth doesn't agree with him.
Yeah, so is Rambo. Rambo was born in space too, as far as we know.
But he doesn't have that energy.
He does.
Is 80s Japan.
The only difference between Ramba and casval, other than everything else, is the fact that Ramba does not go with the flow and casval does. Ramba fights for his beliefs. Casval kills other people for his beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Still, I think we can both agree we loved every moment of everyone here. This was a great series. I'm going to miss this, honestly, because like I said, I want more. We're not going to get more, are we?
Well, technically, we're going to get the same characters. Well, we're going to get characters with the same names, but we're going to be getting them written by the original person and not by this guy who I wish did more. If he made his own Gundam series, I'd be there. But we're only going to get him one more time, and only as in a directing position. And I think I mentioned it, the movie that comes after the show, but it's not a movie that comes after the show technically. The comment that you read before, where they cut out a middle section of the show. There is an episode where apparently, according to what I've read, where apparently they're supposed to do a thing, but it gets cut out, and then we jump forwards or something like that. That's what the movie is. The movie technically takes place halfway through the show, but apparently everybody says... I'm not spoiling myself for anyone in the comments. I'm literally just trying to do the research about when's the best order to watch these things.
Yep.
The movie takes place after that episode, but it's best, as recommended, to watch the entire show, then the movie, than it is to watch up to that episode, watch the movie, then go back to the show. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to finish the show, and then we'll hit that movie.
All right, then. So in that case, I think that goes ahead and wraps up Origin here for right now. We're definitely going to be back with more UC Gundam, so go ahead and click that subscribe button and come back here next time. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the day. This has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?